lots of talk of a snowstorm later this week and this weekend, so I figured it's a good time to put out a video and take a look, see what's going on here. This is, I have the GFS pulled up. Let's put it toward, this is Monday, so let me put this to Thursday. So that's when our storm starts to get going. So if we take a look down here around Texas, we see the storm start to get going, pulling some of that Gulf moisture. So we have rain breaking out across Texas, and then further north into Texas, we have some heavy snow breaking out. So this is now Thursday night into Friday. And then at that point, as we go into Friday, we have our storm kind of sliding across the northern Gulf Coast there, with snow breaking out, rain, and maybe even some freezing rain in the Carolinas, breaking out ahead of that Friday night. That jumps, the low pressure system, you can see, kind of jumps to the coast there off the Carolinas. This is now Saturday morning, and that's when the storm really starts to explode here on the GFS. Again, this isn't a forecast. I'm showing you one model run right here. So there we go. This is now Friday afternoon. We have some heavy snow breaking out. DC back towards Southwest Virginia, up into Philadelphia and parts of New Jersey. And then the storm really explodes at that point with 979 millibar storm. Really, it's a blizzard at this point. This is Saturday night 7 p.m. And then it just kind of crawls at that point, 900 and deepens. 964 millibars is a very, very powerful storm. No doubt about it, this is a blizzard on the GFS. And then it kind of scoots off and things start to settle down Sunday afternoon. But I'll back it up again so you can kind of see that progression here. And this is a Saturday morning again. And there you go, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. And look at all that, those deep blues, very heavy snow. This is a blizzard for the I-95 corridor for DC to Boston. So as far as snow totals, and then we'll take a look at the upper air. We'll take a look at some things that could go wrong, things that need to go right in order for this to happen. So let's pull up the GFS. Here we go. So these are snowfall totals for this upcoming storm. Now some of this is still from the storm that's currently going on. So you can cut off several inches here in Virginia. But all of this is really new snow from Philadelphia on north. And you see 2 to 3 feet of snow from Philadelphia to New York. And then even Boston, you have 2 feet of snow here. So very, very impactful storm, really a crippling storm here on the GFS. So let's take a look at really what needs to happen. So let's pop over. We're going to take a look at 500 millibars and take a look at what needs to happen for this to come to fruition. All right, so this is taking a look at 500 millibar. This is vorticity or energy or spin in the atmosphere. So we have several pieces that we really need to come together just right to have a blizzard on the East Coast. I think where there's going to be a storm, is it going to be a weak storm that kind of just skirts off the coast, or a powerful storm that rides up? So first and foremost, we have a piece of energy digging down to the southwest here and in northern Mexico. So that's one. And then we have another piece of energy to the north of it that dives in. And then a third piece right up here dropping into Montana. And all three are really key, but we especially need that northern piece to drop in just like it does on the GFS. You see all three pieces come together just right on the GFS, sharpens up that trough there, and there's your blizzard right there. Right, all three pieces converge, phase together. So this is a triple phaser, come together just right. Trough goes negatively tilted, meaning northwest to southeast, and that allows our storm to really develop. Cuts off there, which is why we see it slow up late Saturday and really just dump those prolific totals there. From Philadelphia to Boston, even DC, you're in the game on this for sure. Now, what can go wrong here? Let's pop over to the European. All right, so let's make this, let me switch this over to 500 millibars here so you can see. So again, we talked about that third piece in the north diving down. That really is a key component to this. So here's here's the European. There's our piece of energy in the southwest, piece of energy just to the north, diving down into it. And now what the European does, that last northern piece here, really stays separate, phases some energy in, but it keeps that upper level low and that main piece of energy to the north. And what that does is it flattens it out. As you can see, I mean, look at that. It's very, very flat, very progressive. So you get a weaker storm that slides off that coast. So I'll back this up a little bit. And then here is that third piece of energy that the GFS dives into the storm. The European keeps it separate. And I'll show you what the European does in just a second at the surface so you can see the result of that. But we need that piece to dive in if we want a major East Coast snowstorm or blizzard. So let's go ahead and look at the surface real quick. You can see what I'm talking about. So let's pull this to Thursday. There's your storm forming in Texas. So Texas could get a pretty big snowstorm here, even on the European where it keeps that northern piece from phasing in. Could have a sizable snowstorm here. GFS has about 6 to 12 inches of snow in Texas over towards southern Arkansas. But here's the European that doesn't phase that northern piece in. It slides it off the coast there, right? So kind of keeps it weak, doesn't phase in that northern string. We need that to really deepen the storm, to sharpen up that trough, to pull that storm in, deepen it, and then move it up the coast. The European has done that in previous runs. The most recent run that came out just didn't, though. So we have a couple different camps here. Still going to take a few days to sort this out. There's obviously a lot of moving pieces that need to come together just right. But if we pop over to the GFS ensembles that just came out, that's the ensembles there. It's a good tool to use because it runs the same model at a lower resolution, about 30 different times. I think 31 different times. So all these red numbers that you see, these are different low placements from each of those separate runs. And you can see the GFS ensembles that just came out, very interesting. A lot of those members are showing that major East Coast storm solution. So really the plot thickens at this point, but the verdict is still far from being in at this point. But right now, I would just have that in your mind that, if you're on the East, if you're Texas, parts of the South, I think no matter what, there's going to be a storm system for sure. What happens is that northern piece phase in to really deepen this and create a major mid-Atlantic to northeast snowstorm. The GFS ensembles are pretty aggressive on this, much more so than in previous runs. So that's certainly interesting. We'll have to see what the European ensembles do. We'll put another video out there tomorrow after tonight's runs, tomorrow runs come in. Hopefully there's a little bit more agreement. At this point, it's possible. Not making any prediction at this point. I just thought it was a good time to do a video on this. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. Help the channel grow. I greatly appreciate that. And see you next time.